Reasons not to move to Oklahoma City. Nothing at all like Oklahoma. In general, Oklahoma has always been mentioned in songs, films and pop culture. It has a lot of history, beauty, culture and some of the country's friendliest sports fans. You're probably never gonna leave if you grew up there. But in the soonest state, is it all good? Naturally not. Oklahoma has its least desirable locations like any other state. The aim of today's travel chase journey is to use science and data to determine why Oklahoma is the worst place to live. On the borders of Texas, New Mexico, Arkansas, Missouri, Kansas and Colorado, Oklahoma has a sizes of 69.898 square miles. As of 2013, its population was approximately 3.85 million. Oklahoma transits in topography from the western Great Plains to the southeastern wetlands and is therefore geographically one of the most diverse states. The state faces environmental challenges, including air and water quality, chronic drought, and fracking threats. So stick with us until the end of the video. Stay tuned and don't forget to subscribe to our channel, The Travel Chase. Also, hit the bell icon for more updates. Let's get started. Water quality. 6 coal-fired power plants in Oklahoma were identified by a 2013 report from the Sierra Club as accused of releasing harmful ash and sweetwater wastewater into the streams of the state. Toxic substances including arsenic, selenium, and mercury may be found in the released materials. The 6 companies rejected the charges. The contamination allegedly resulted from fracking is another water quality problem in the state, a process where the rock is broken with pressure liquid to help the extraction of fossil fuels. LeFlore County residents initiated a collective action suit against 50 companies in 2013 which claimed that fracking wastewater is a health threat. Fracking and earthquakes. In addition to concerns about water pollution, fracking raises the concern that it could cause earthquakes. A seismologist from the Oklahoma Geographical Survey, Dr. Austin Holland, has reported that earthquakes have increased dramatically in areas of fracking. He notes that the steadily increasing seismic activity without a relationship to fracking would be a very unlikely coincidence and conducts tests to further examine the connection. In 2013, Oklahoma suffered more than 238 earthquakes. Air pollution. Oklahoma City and Tulsa are amongst the 25 American places with the highest level of ozone pollution, according to the American Public Health Society. Oklahoma's Ponca City is known for the high carbon black air, a fine black powder from the neighboring Continental Carbon Coal plant. The Disease Intervention and Elimination Centers advise that extended carbon black exposure can damage your heart and lungs. The company acquired and removed residential property in the city after many years of lawsuits. Inequality. In Oklahoma, women and people of color tend to face financial disadvantage. They have repeatedly been denied rights to violence and targeted both publicly and privately. Since the Second World War, African Americans and Indians have been unemployed at almost 2 times the rate of the whites. Colored individuals are arrested, prosecuted and detained at alarming rates. Pandemic violence towards women. More women in Oklahoma than any other state were raped, stalked or abused in a partner. This is the only region in America that has experienced a fall in women's life expectancy over the past decade and is the lowest number in the country of women legislators. Oklahoma is in some aspects in fact well placed to reduce poverty. The Oklahomans rank 8 nationally in per capita charitable donation. The state is one of the most charitable people in the country. Furthermore, the state has and will proceed to have a growing revenue stream with a natural resource base easily available in oil and natural gas. Poverty in Oklahoma doesn't persist because we are not successful. It continues because these public and private resources cannot be used to achieve widespread prosperity. Low educational attainment. Education and poverty are interlinked because education is closely linked to jobs and income. The chronically low funding of our public school is seriously neglected in its physical infrastructure. Oklahoma's people are 49th per pupil for common education expenditure. 2/3 or more of adults in 67 of Oklahoma's 77 counties did not receive 2 years of high school academic achievements and education. Underemployment and low-wage work. Jobs are a prerequisite to poverty alleviation. While the statewide unemployment rate is very low because of broad disparities by the country and by race/ethnicities, that is an imperfect measure of actual unemployment. The unemployment rate of the people of eastern Oklahoma and of color is much higher. Oklahomans are underpaid and underemployed as well. Almost 1 out of 3 jobs is in jobs where the median salary is below poverty, with an ever-increasing proportion of these jobs on the job market. now still ranks 5th in the share of non-employed adult workers, 11.4%. Sales tax. There are a lot of serious problems with the growth of Oklahoma City. In the end, government must grow to preserve the high quality of our life in the town of Oklahoma, and this is a difficult balance because of so many unpredictable factors. The financing of operations and maintenance through sales tax is amongst the hardest things people have to deal with. As popular they are, they must balance this growth so that they can ensure that it is sustainable over time. This is a broad reply, I know, but it's getting to the core of the problem. Faulty septic system. If you have a septic system and it does have problems, it can quickly lead to the sale of your home in Oklahoma City. If the buyer says that you have a defective septic system, the buyer will usually ask you to carry out the remediation or reduce sales prices if they are not yet interested at all. The best way is to resolve the problem a purchaser can see. Your agent will again be able to advise you on the best course. This is the major problem that can threaten your home sales in Oklahoma City. However, there are more, such as compromise sales. Your local agent can assist you with ensuring that your home is free from any of these problems. Mold issue. Finally, we have learned about the main health hazards associated with mold and mildew. Any mold sign can therefore certainly jeopardize your home in Oklahoma City selling. Purchasers are understandably reluctant to buy a molded house because it probably points to water penetrates and can be extremely toxic to their health. When you see any signs of mold, it is best to deal with this problem immediately. The longer you stay, the worse and costlier it becomes. Homeowners will usually need to use a mold remediation business. It can be a long, expensive process, but if it helps you to sell your home, it's worth the cost. Drugs. The drug epidemic in the region has caused tens of thousands of deaths every year throughout the nation, fueled by the rise of opioids. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention data indicate that more than 30,000 overdoses of drugs have been directly attributed to synthetic opiates. In addition, studies indicate that this number will not drop soon. Despite federal legislation to address prescription pharmaceutical abuse, it shows that before it gets better, this problem is gonna get worse. That's all about today's video. Subscribe to The Travel Chase if you haven't done yet. Do give a like and we will be back with more videos. Stay tuned.